Welcome back to Yogaxpress, your virtual stretch clinic that helps you move the body to still the mind. My name is Banu Suresh. I'm your host for this program. We have a happy surprise for you once more. Someone who came on our program a day before today's taping, and she's back here with us to help us understand our body just that much better. Each day we learn something new. Before I reintroduce Susan Rasmussen Rogart, I'd like to thank our amazing crew. Great teamwork. Thank you, Josiane Herder, director, Carol Lewis, co-director, and I believe we may have George Soterelis on camera today. Thank you so much. Richard Swanson, responsible for the studio lights and the sound system here. Yogaxpress airs Monday through Friday on Time Warner 57, RCN 84, and FiOS 35 at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to stretch with us, just remember there's a lot of support for you. We also have a website, www.yogaxpress.com. We live in North America. We don't know how to spell. It's YOGAXPRESS.com. No E before the X. If you do, and only if you come and stretch with us, we will share with you a copy of my third title, Yoga Secrets, which has 2+8 ailment-specific cards inside. You'll know more about it if you come and stretch with us. We'll also give you a postcard,
Please.
with 48 simple stretches. So once you've done a full workout, you should be able to do these postures in about 20 minutes once you know the sequence. Sarah and I know the sequence fairly well by now, so one of these days we're going to treat you to a full sequence in under 20 minutes. We'll also share with you a fridge magnet and a yoga poster. Plus you have the opportunity to be with other like-minded people, fitness-minded people. And that's fine, Carol. I'm okay with the sound of the cars. That's fine. Yeah, that's Anais trying out test driving his new racing cars over there. I would like to
family-friendly show.
It's a family-friendly show. And yes, good thing you brought that up, Susan, because we are a walk-in show. So anytime you feel like you need a stretch and you're somewhere nearby, walk right in. You can walk into our show. So that said, I'd like to reintroduce first to my immediate right with these wonderful ribbons here, Naomi Candelaria. Naomi is Sarah Torres' daughter. Naomi, welcome back to the show. How did you feel yesterday after Susan helped us understand what the body was going through?
Great.
Felt good? Did you sleep well?
Yes.
Yes? And you hope to do some more stretching today, Naomi?
Yes.
Would you like to say hello to any other friends who might be watching you?
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana. Diana, Naomi, and all her other new friends would like to say hello. Naomi's brother Anais is, as I said, test driving his cars. Sarah Torres, upcoming author, writer, and an actress and model as well. She's been doing script writing. She's going to bring in some amazing scripts to MNN as well.
Yeah.
Did I say these episodes are taped in the studios of Manhattan Neighborhood Network? Sarah, your script would be a great addition to our programs. What's the plan? How are you doing with that?
Well, I'm just working on getting into the producers' workshops here.
Okay.
And I just have a couple of more papers to finalize, and then I'll get started. I've already got the show that I'm going to
Make sure you find a role for me. I'll be a yoga teacher on your show.
You know, I was thinking about, because I don't want to say too much, but
okay, I understand.
It's you know how a lot of people have these talk shows and they have new and upcoming artists. Well, I kind of took that idea and I changed it because it's about successful artists, but it's it's fiction, so it's a made-up celebrity, and it's a talk show. The show is a talk show, but it's like a talk show reenactment.
Right.
So
Okay. So we all have roles, acting roles.
Exactly. So let's
Wow.
pretend you're a yoga
And then we have
instructor.
Susan Rasmussen as a trainer.
Right, and she could be a trainer, and you guys, you got this big chain, and there's some reason for you to come to this show.
Right.
The title's going to be Living Dreams, assuming it's allowable.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm sure.
you guys are
It's
living
fresh.
your dreams. You're this great trainer, and something happened. It's controversy at one of the gyms. So now you're talking about it, but as you go to describe what happens, it will go into a scene where it's actually a reenactment
Right.
of this fictitious
We
situation.
can't wait for your plays to
Cool.
come on, Sarah.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a good idea.
Sarah, on the extreme left, to my immediate left, the big moment, all of you are curious to know. Actually, those of you who watched us yesterday already know Susan Rasmussen Rogard. I'm sorry, I tripped over that name.
No way.
Susan, welcome back to the show. It was an amazing experience. In the last episode, you took us through when we did the sun salutation. You actually explained and helped us understand posture by posture what each posture was doing for our body. Would you suggest, and you did make a suggestion for improving one of the postures, I think the one where Sarah took her palms off of the floor, the cobra. You're familiar with the yoga posture
Sure.
names as well. Susan is a group fitness director at Complete Body and Spa. Susan, you did mention before we started today, you did mention you had your own studios. Do you still have them?
No, I don't. I sold all of my gyms. It was just too much work for me, and I just kind of took myself in another direction. I started a new career in garden design, and
I remember.
and I had to make some choices.
No
you
wonder
know,
you had this amazing color coordination thing going.
Well, I got married in 1998, and I was working 24/7 at the time. And my
Whoa.
husband took a look at me and said, "How about
This is not a good idea.
let's do something on the weekends? You know, what a concept!" And so I ended up selling my businesses, and I ended up working for somebody else.
Right.
So it gives
Well,
me a little
you-
bit more time to pursue other things.
True, because you don't have the managerial aspect
Right.
to worry about
Right.
now. So now you
And it was great. It was a great journey. I loved it. I think so
Bless you,
often
Sarah.
of having such great people in my life and having my gym in the Hamptons. When I walk through the streets in the city, invariably somebody will come up and go, "Oh my God, I remember this studio. It was so beautiful. It was. Oh, would you please open it again?" And I just, I'm so tempted so many times, but I know how much work it is. And
now
I
that
just,
you're on the show, Susan, call them and tell them they can still see you in action right here. It's wonderful to have you back.
Thank
It's
you.
so good. It was an amazing experience the last time. What I did, and with your approval, Sarah, I picked some of the postures that may make a good stretch for some of the gym moves that people may practice in the gyms when they do their gym workout. What we are going to do is I'm going to go through this posture. If you can tell, is there a name for the gym
Sure.
move that you can point out? So I don't know much about gyms, right? I've been in and out, but I don't know too much. But I'm just giving an example. For instance, when we open up the front of the body, where we lift our arms all the way up, is there a counter move? Because in yoga, we always feel we need to have a balance. So if you do a stretch, you need to strengthen. So is
Right.
there-
Well, usually what happens is any movement, if you analyze a movement, which is kind of my specialty, I look at movements
Right.
and you analyze what is the main mover, what is the secondary mover, what are the positive muscles that engage, and what are the muscles that are stretched. Because every movement contains a muscle that's shortening,
Right,
and
and
another
one that's
muscle,
lengthening.
another muscle that's lengthening. The reason why the movement happens is the lengthening muscle controls the movement. The flexing muscle is the action muscle.
Okay, right, right.
So if you're going to sit here and reach forward, my stomach muscles and my hip flexors are pulling my chest forward,
Right.
but my back muscles are preventing me from just flopping down.
Oh, okay. So even though the back is getting a bit of a release,
It's
holding
stretch,
control.
right?
Okay.
It's controlling you, and it's one of the ways that the body prevents injury. It's called a
Okay.
stretch
So the
reflex.
self-defense mechanism in our body.
Right.
I remember when we actually Radan, your colleague, when he came on the show, he briefly touched on something the tendons that connect bone to bone,
Right.
and cartilage connects bone to muscle. Could you explain
Tendons
that? Or did I get
collect
that
muscle. You did. You got it wrong.
I did. Okay.
It's
Thanks.
okay. Muscles, as they diminish,
Right.
become a tendon. The
Okay.
tendon attaches itself to the bone.
Right. So what is cartilage?
Cartilage is kind of like a spongy material that prevents bone against bone from wearing away on each other.
Okay. Okay.
So, for example, you've got your long bone in your leg,
Right.
and in the here and here, and
Yes.
they articulate where they touch, and in between them is a layer of cartilage.
Okay.
When that cartilage wears away in
That's
old
when-
age, and you feel that grinding,
Yes.
it's a common injury, and it can happen because of an injury, or it can happen because of overuse, or it can happen because
Improper movement.
not necessarily improper movement, but just because it's so repetitive, like a carpet installer. Always use their
Lovely
knees.
analogy. Okay.
They use their knees all day long to install carpet, and after a while, the cartilage will wear down. In between, there are certain jobs that have injuries that are very common to them because they're the repetitive
Right.
movements, over a long period of time. So if you're not aware of some of the things that could help prevent that, you're going to fall into that unfortunate category.
That's a lovely explanation. You made it sound so simple. Susan, here's what we're going to do. If you feel that you could just point out, we will do some of these stretches, as many as we can get in.
Okay.
Probably we'll avoid the supine ones for today, maybe standing into
Okay.
seated. And we're going to stand up. As we do these stretches, if you can point out what is the muscle that's strengthening when we do these
Okay,
stretches, that
sure.
would help us a lot.
Sure.
Some of them, our viewers, you may already have done these stretches with us in the last episode with Susan. Some of them, many of them you may not. So we're going to take you through some stretches. Sarah, if you want, actually no, I'm going to have Susan and Naomi come forward. So we're going to stagger ourselves. Sarah and I will come back. Now, to get into most of these postures, we always start in this one. And this time, today, I'm going to remember what you told us the last time, Susan. Got to press, but inhale right there in the chest.
Usually
Say that
when
again.
in fitness, when you're doing the exertion phase of the exercise,
Right.
we ask you to exhale.
Right. Yes.
Okay? Because on the exertion, you can actually exhale and then engage your diaphragm and
Okay.
your core to help push the air out.
Tell me one more time before we get into this posture. What is a core?
The
Because we
core-
have a slightly different understanding.
The core are all the muscles that surround, it's like a giant belt.
Okay, so we're okay, Sarah. This is
like
the
a-
equator. I like to call it the equator.
Right.
I always say that,
It's
but
a giant belt around you, so it prevents your trunk from flopping around like a doll.
Okay, so we tighten this part,
Right.
the equator. All right, good. So we're on the right track. All right, let's inhale. Take your arms up. Are there any particular muscle groups we're strengthening here? Susan?
Actually, strengthening you're standing here and all your body weight is on your legs, so your bones are supporting your body weight here.
Right.
So your bones are getting some benefit from this, retaining calcium. You're using your body weight.
Is there anything happening in my lower back or my back at all? Am I
Your
strengthening
extension. So your back muscles are extending. The muscles in the front of your body it's stretching. So if you feel the muscles in your back contracting slightly, if you lift the rib cage, you'll feel
Yes,
a little bit more of a stretch in your stomach muscle. But your stomach muscles are what preventing you from just flopping over in the back.
Right. I remember what you said the last time. The taller I try to get, the more I stretch my arms up.
Exactly. Your
Chances
waist
of
gets
getting my
smaller.
waistline. Wow, I can't wait for that.
It's actually true. If you take a tape measure,
Yeah?
but then when you put your arms down,
It comes
unfortunately,
back.
Banu, you get the same measurement again.
Exhale,
Sorry.
exhale and fold. Oh, I'll work at it. Exhale and fold.
Now, this is a very passive stretch that you're doing for your lower back, for your spine.
So are we strengthening any part of our body in this?
Not so much of a strengthening, but you can feel your hamstrings
Yes.
engaging here.
Right.
All right? They're stretching but you also feel them kind of pulling and holding your posture here.
Right. Okay. And I remember the last time you said if we keep our arms
Right, if you
crossed.
use your arms in this position here, it's going to make your upper body heavier because you're taking away the support. And then you're going to get a much deeper stretch and a lengthening in your spine here because it's kind of actually like a weight pulling down on your spine.
Right. In yoga, sometimes we talk about when we get into forward fold, you're talking about exertion. That's when you exhale. We also do that when you do forward folds. We try to exhale, but we use a lot of abdominal muscle exhales. So do you think that might help me strengthen my abdominals?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of Pilates. And
Okay.
once we get in an upright position, I'll show you that.
Inhale, let's come up. Exhale.
And the blood in my cheeks, that's for sure. One of the things I always have people do in my Pilates classes, I have them take their fingers and put them here. Okay, so take your fingers and put them right here in your stomach. All right, let's see, right here. Now, I want you to watch me. I'm not going to blow out with my lips, or not with my cheeks. So I'm not doing like a balloon. What I'm going to do is pull my lips back and go so that the air comes from
You
here.
actually have a breathing technique, Pastrika. Oh,
So
wonderful.
if you breathe like that, every single time you do that, you're causing an abdominal contraction. So if every time you breathe during an hour of exercise, you breathe using that contraction, then you've done an hour of stomach work in addition to everything else you've done.
We
All right?
are
So,
doing
but I mean, you
good.
can feel
Lovely.
that, right?
Very nice.
But if you do it with your cheeks, you
There's
don't
not much of a
you don't
workout
feel
there.
it here
Right.
because your cheeks are doing the work.
Right.
So if your cheeks are puffing out, no good.
Right.
You want to try to make this happen from here. And it takes a little practice. You have to be a little bit not self-conscious to
Right.
do that because you're thinking, oh, I must look silly, but it really works and
work.
it pulls. Every single time you push that air out, all these muscles here are contracting your lungs and trying to get that air out.
Wonderful. I'm going to remember to use some of the breathing techniques. Sarah and I use a technique called Ujjayi, which is from the back of the throat. But this we haven't tried when we are in
Deeper.
the posture. So
Much
we're going to
deeper.
get a little deep, a lot deeper. Let's all turn to face the front left of the mat. Bring your legs out about 3 feet apart. Put your brakes on, so bring your toes in. When your feet are nice and secure. If you notice, Susan has her shoes off today. She has obliged us. She's used to keeping her shoes on. It's like part of her all the time. But she's still got her socks on, but that's okay because she's got rubber dots under her socks, so she's being safe. You can't see the rubber dots, but she has them. Now turn your right foot out to the side so the heel of the right foot is at a T to the inside of the left foot. Upper body faces the left side of the mat. Inhale your arms up to shoulder height, palms facing down. Lean a little to your left. Exhale, dip. Did I say left? I'm so sorry. Lean a little to your right. Exhale. You're fine. Your leg is fine. Dip your right hand in front of your right ankle. Left arm goes all the way up. Susan, how are we doing in this one?
This is a triangle, right?
Yes,
We're doing a triangle.
that's right.
So you can feel, if you want to make your triangle very perfect, you want to pull those shoulder blades together. And again, you want to think about lightning bolts out of your fingernails straight into the ceiling. So from your left hand to your right hand, a perfectly straight line. Look up, and so you'll feel a little bit more of a stretch in your neck.
I like that analogy, lightning bolt.
Right, you want to pull that energy right out of the center of you and push it out. So now you can feel the stretch in your inner thigh and your right leg.
Yes.
All right, these are your abductors, abductors.
Abductors, yeah.
And they're pulling right now because you're leaning into it and your feet are apart. You're feeling your stomach muscles engage because they're holding you in this position, and you're twisted. So it's obliques that are helping.
Wonderful. That's the waist, right?
Right.
Very nice. Inhale. Let's come up.
And as you come up, what's pulling you up? The muscles on this side of your waist.
Okay. The left side of the
Right?
waist.
Yeah, because this is shortening and pulling you up to an erect position again. Nothing else is helping you do that.
That's amazing. So you have the stretch like you mentioned earlier today. While you're stretching one muscle group, you're strengthening another one.
Correct.
That's great. Turn your right foot in, turn the left foot out. We're going to look away from the cameras for just a moment. Now this time I'm going to bring my right foot out just a little more to give myself a little, this side of my body doesn't cooperate as much, so I need to get a little more depth here. Lean a little to your left, exhale. Dip your left hand in front of your left ankle. Right arm goes all the way up. Look up at the raised arm and hold while Susan explains.
So again, exactly the same, only now you're going to be feeling everything on the opposite side. So now we're feeling the stretch in our abductors of the leg on the left side. You're pulling those shoulder blades together, and again, looking up that hand, energy out of those fingernails straight to the ceiling, trying to maintain with your upper back strength, your rhomboids, that flat upper back.
Very nice. So rhomboids are between the shoulder blades?
Correct,
Did you say?
yes.
Very nice.
Very responsible for your flat upper back posture.
Inhale, let's come up. Bring your toes in the left foot. Exhale and release. Wiggle your toes, feet a little closer. Let's turn to face the front of the camera. Naomi, a little bit of feedback. How do you feel? Did you like that stretch? I love the dimples.
Doesn't it make you feel taller?
I need that. Let's do a very simple move called Kati Chakra. Kati Chakra, chakra is wheel, Kati is spinning or moving. Bring your feet out about 4 to 6 inches apart. The insides of your feet are parallel to each other. Now, I'm going to have Susan come forward. Sarah and I will stagger back because we're going to swing our arms out in turns. We don't want to hit each other exactly. Now, bring both your palms in front of your chest. We're going to exhale. Keep your hips where they are. Swing the right arm out. We'll inhale back to the center and then do the same thing on the other side. Now, before we do that, take a deep breath in. Inhale. Exhale, swing your right arm out. Follow your hand with your eyes. Inhale, back to the center. We'll do this twice and Susan will explain the second time what's happening. Exhale to the left.
Now, Banu, are we, when we're doing this, do you want us to reach as far back as possible?
Well, we're going to do that in the second round. In the second round, we're going to take our hips with us. That helps us go a little deeper. And that's when Susan's going to explain exactly what's happening in our body. Now, feel the difference. Exhale, swing the right arm out, take your hips with you. Go for it, Susan.
So you're feeling your muscles in your waist. Actually, momentum is carrying you to this position, but the strength of your core is holding you in this position. Now, you can make this even more deep if you really push energy out of your fingernails. Hold your position. Try to pull back as far as you can and feel that twisting in the waist. And lift the elbows so that the fingertip and behind you and the elbow in front of you are on the same plane. Now, pulling those shoulder blades together again, lifting that armpit, you're going to feel the strength in the shoulder.
I feel it as I take my left shoulder back.
Right.
Inhale, back to the center. Exhale to the left and take your hips with you. Keep your feet where they are.
So again, reaching back as far as you can. You're working the flexibility. Look how flexible Sarah is here.
Oh, yeah.
You're working the flexibility in your shoulder. You're feeling the deltoid in the front. Your anterior deltoid is being pulled.
So deltoids are shoulder muscles?
Right, they cap your shoulders. You have your anterior, your middle, and your rear deltoid here. Your rhomboids are pulling your shoulder blades together. This deltoid is, feel that right there? That's holding that arm up. Your waist is holding you in this position. So you've got a lot going on there.
Yeah. Inhale, back to the center. Very nice explanation. Exhale and release. We tend to do these postures without really thinking of the physiological effect at times, but it's so wonderful to hear that. We're going to do a few, actually we have about 3 minutes left. Possibly we'll take you through 2 standing postures. Now this one, I don't know if we actually, no, yes, we do need to strengthen our core, belt, or whatever. So we're going to bring our legs out in front. Watch out for Sarah. She swings her leg all the way out to the side. Transfer your weight to the left leg. Inhale, lift your right foot, hold on to the right big toe. Join us, Naomi. I know you love this one. The other hand, sweetie. This leg goes down, and then lift your right foot up. That's it. Exhale, extend your right leg out to the front. And if you are like Sarah or Susan possibly, you want to take your right leg all the way out to the side. Very nice. And I won't have Susan explain while she's holding it.
Thank you.
Inhale, back to the center. Oh, Naomi, it's the right hand to the right foot, sweetie. All right. And now let's try the other leg. Transfer your weight to the right leg. Inhale. When we are finished with this posture, the other side of this posture, Susan's going to tell us what we are gaining from this. Lift your left foot up. Hold on to the left big toe. Exhale and extend. It's a left leg, sweetheart. This time, left leg. Lift your left. That's it. And place your left hand on your left big toe. The other hand. Oh, wow, she's able to do that. Now, Sarah, feel free. Take it out to the side if you
I don't want
want.
to get my foot in front of your face, Sarah. I'm sorry.
Inhale and release. Actually, I meant to ask you, how can I hold this a little longer, and what muscles do I need to engage?
Well, I'll tell you, before I came here, I taught a few exercise classes, so my muscles are already tired. So when I feel this right now,
Right.
my muscle starts to cramp right away. It's your quadriceps, these
Quads,
muscles in
okay.
your legs.
Okay. How about
First of all, you need to have the flexibility. A lot of people
I don't.
cannot reach their toe when they
Right,
do this.
right.
So if you can't reach your toe in this position,
Then
you're
bringing
never
it
going to
up.
be able to do it in this position.
Right,
Right? So
right.
that's number one. Number two, your arm is not really holding your leg there. Your quadricep
Right.
is holding
It's
your
holding
leg
us up.
there. And so if your leg is not strong enough, then you're not going to be able to hold that leg against gravity pulling it down.
So do I need to engage my lower abdominal muscles?
Well,
doing
yes,
that?
for
Does it help?
balance, but
For
that's about
balance.
the balance.
Right, right.
You know,
okay.
because now instead of having bilateral symmetry, and if you're standing here in a perfect balance, now you're taking all this body weight and you're holding it out here.
Right.
So in order for you to balance, you have to kind of lean back, engage your stomach, squeeze your tush.
Right.
It's a very complicated movement physiologically.
Right.
Because you have all that body weight out in front of you.
Right. And we're going to get very strong
So
quads then.
Right, exactly. I mean, I felt my quadricep more than anything else
Right.
while I was doing that.
Okay, so we're getting a workout right there. One last posture as we are winding down. I'd like to thank our crew, Josie and Hurd, our director, our tech director, Carol Lewis, and I believe George Sotrelis is on camera. Thank you to all of you for making this episode happen, and Richard Swanson, responsible for the studio lights and the sound. Bring your feet apart from each other, one in front of the other, about 2 feet or 3 feet apart from each other. Both feet face forward. Exhale, bend your right knee, land on your left knee. Place your left knee on the floor. Uncurl your toes. Wiggle your right foot forward, as far forward as Susan asks us to. You don't want your knee to go right over. Exhale and dip. You briefly mentioned this in the last episode. We're going to do that little twist. But I think instead of doing the actual twist, are we doing this right? Is there any particular muscle group we need to engage in this?
The important thing here is that you're feeling, everybody's different. Everybody's
Right.
stretch is going to be in a different spot. So you need to start this with your hips being square to the front, your front knee over your ankle, your back knee behind your hip to try to get this flexing, this stretching here of your hip flexor. And keep your chest facing front too so that you get the maximum stretch.